Where do I stop last time? 8, paragraph 9.
More than that.
More than that, huh? Natural hazard, disclosure hazard. Paragraph 10. Statutory other disclosure. Yeah, I go through that. Yeah, that's true. I remember. Natural hazard, environmental hazard, and a booklet. Withholding tax, Megan's law, notice. Yeah, that's right. 11. Condition. Yeah. Condition of a property. Now I remember. Yep. Okay. Okay, that's starting on the paragraph 11. Unless otherwise agreed in writing. 1. The property is sold as is in its present physical condition as the date of acceptance. How many listing agents they still repeating on the counter offer? Still say sold as is condition. Many of them, because they never read about their purchase agreement. Here, paragraph 11. It's been stated here for a long time. You know, this part they didn't really change on so many versions. Same thing. When we purchase, it's as is in the present condition. Because when you do the counter offer, when you mean sold as is present condition, is that telling the buyer cannot do repair? No. You can still request for repair. Because it doesn't know what's the as is present condition mean. The as is present condition is, okay, here's a 4-bedroom. You cannot come out with 3-bedroom or 5-bedroom, for example. That's a present as is condition, cannot be changed. Doesn't mean, oh, the dishwasher is broken, so be it. Leave the way that is. It's different because that's a mechanical part. Air conditioning is not working, so be it. Leave the way that is. If you really want to do that, you know, to the buyer, then you gotta have to state it on the counter offer. No repair. And believe me, at this moment, you will scare the buyer away, most likely, if you stated no repair, because they figure, you know, you are too tough to deal with. So if you're the listing agent, I would suggest please don't do that. Wait until the buyer put in the initial deposit. Wait until they get into the inspection report. Then, if the seller still insists no repair, fine. You can always reject it, whatever they request for repair. or just repair the minor item. You don't have to do the major item. Well, sometimes you give it a credit or reduce the price. It got so many ways can renegotiate when it's talk about a repair. But try not to do it at the beginning. If you do it, say no repair, no termite. well, you may just kill the deal. Because that assist doesn't mean it's I don't want to do the termite completion. Well, because those I have to do after inspection, you find out. Because the assist is visual. Okay? Because it's asset in the present physical condition. That means it's present. It's more like our agent visual inspection. Okay, that's an AVID. Boy, you're the only girl. Today, so far. Yeah, 一会儿就来了. Okay. So that's why, if anybody say, well, if the buyer say, well, why they come to us as present assets condition, there's that no repair? No, you can still request for repair. Even when I did it, when they counted no repair, no termite completion, and I still requested repair or credit and the termite completion. Do I get it? Yes. No, because the request for repair supersedes the counter offer. Whatever you request, if you make a legitimate listing agent talk to the seller, says, okay, fine, I will do the repair. But I know the counter offer say no repair. If you do not send out a request for repair, even they tell you on the counter offer say no repair, no termite completion, who lose? You lose. You can tell the seller, say, look, this is my buyer's request, and I'm the buyer's agent. My job is deliver the buyer's request, isn't it? It doesn't matter you send a no repair or not. My buyer wants you to repair, period. Because it's a safety issue, for example, some of the item. Some of the item I did it before, it's like, if the outlet doesn't have a ground, well, I know you say no repair, but I suggest you to repair that because if anything happened, the house got burned, anybody got hurt, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you just wait for the lawsuit. Are you going to do that? Can you scare them? Sure. That's your buyer's agent's job. If you're tough enough, scare the seller. And I get the credit for, install the ground on the old house. It's up to you. If you take the way that is, and the counter offer, even they say no repair, that's your choice.
Is that a seller can be said, well, you want to repair, you want to
then I don't want to buy.
But I don't want to sell it.
That's fine. Who can cancel it? At this moment, who can cancel it? Buyer, not you, seller. Tough luck. Either you listen to me or else. That's why I say before a seller accepting your offer, it's like a tiger. Once they accept the offer, become a cat. They have to listen to the buyer's agent. They become a role play until you want them to remove contingency, and that's a matter of they continue purchase or cancel. Just like your situation, your buyer want to buy it, but why the listing agent is hard to cancel? Then you know who's in charge? Buyer, not exactly the seller. That's why. You gotta have to understand. Sometimes the backup offer just have to cooperating with the listing agents because the previous buyer could be tough to cancel. Possible. They may have some issue situation. Then they cannot really cancel clean unless the listing agent know the rule very clearly. Whatever the date come, okay, I deliver what. So just don't. For example, the listing agent, most of them, I would say 90% of a listing agent, just when the time is up, they only give you what? Remove contingency. They don't even know what's the notice buyer to perform. The form. Was it what? What form? Notice buyer to perform. But most of the agents forget about that form. They just give it a remove contingency. But can you give the remove contingency? Can seller cancel the buyer? No, and not at all. Because by law, you don't give him a chance to think about. Remove contingency, give it to the buyer. They want the buyer to remove, but buyer say, why should I? You give the wrong form. The right listing agent, if you do it properly, you deliver not just a remove contingency C.A.R form, you also need to deliver notice buyer to perform. And what form? If you're brave enough, cancellation. I deliver all three to you. Pick one to sign. You want to sign a cancellation? Fine. Or you want to sign a remove contingency? Fine. But I only give you notice buyer to perform. Think about within these 2 days. Pick one to sign. But usually we just give two. We don't want to piss the buyer if we have a listing agent, unless you in a really, really hot market, like if you like 2014, 2015, or in a good old day, 2004, 2005. Yeah, we can deliver all three together. But at this moment, we don't want to send the cancellation to piss the buyers off. We just still need to do it, for the notice buyer to perform and C.A.R form, both. B, subject to the buyer investigation right. Buyers certainly have the right to investigate the property. And 3, the property including pool, spa, landscape, and ground to be maintained in substantially the same condition as the date of acceptance. You cannot just abandon the pool or the pond. Okay. Oh, yeah, so they accept the offer. So my landscape doesn't have to be, the gardener doesn't have to continue. You stop the service, you stop the pool service, you stop the gardener. No, you're gonna have to continue. That's the way that what we call present assets condition when we purchase. So a lot of people, they misunderstand the present, for the assets in present condition. This is what they're telling you, clearly tell you about. But how many buyer's agent really thoroughly read their contract? How many of you read it 20 times? Most of them, not yet. You should. Even you don't understand, that's okay. You read 20 times, then you can ask me a question. Without reading 20 times, don't ask me any question. Because you understand, well, how important is this? Number 3, all debris and personal property not included in the sale shall be removed by close of escrow. Seller, sometimes they leave the trash and the debris at home. Okay, that's not right. According to this, seller have to remove it. Okay, by close of escrow. So you gotta, if you know the form right, then you can really force a listing agent and seller do properly. So they cannot leave the trash inside the house. I have the coworker, she's a listing agent, and they say the buyer's agent called her back about like 2 months later. Hey, how come buyer leave the some of a personal belonging inside the house? You need to tell me right away, right? Buyer's agent. Oh, because my buyer thought they will remove it. Well, sometimes the seller just ignore it. And listing agent didn't really go back to see it either because it's been delivered, right? And sometimes the seller promise. I had that as like listing agent and so did the seller promise to remove the refrigerator inside the garage. But took me almost a month before the listing agent paid for it to remove it. Why? Here. Because the Salvation Army come in to pick it up. Okay, they want us to push out the to the driveway, which we did, but somehow that day has an accident happen. Police department sealed the whole community. Then nobody get in. So obviously, they cannot pick up. Well, and whose job is to reschedule? Seller. We can push it out again since we are doing the remodeling. No big deal. Someone's there. But what I end up with, well, seller doesn't call, listing agent doesn't call, blah, blah, blah. Then I say, well, you guys have to remove it. It's not our job. And finally, she paid for it to have, someone to pick it up. Yeah. So those are the issue you gotta have to know, because that's a seller's issue. If they do have any personal belonging or anything they don't want it, even just a refrigerator or washer and dryer. Assets, no, TDS still needed. Those are the transfer disclosure statement. It's different. But assets is what you see, it's what you get. Okay, not including whatever you have to wait until the inspection. Mechanical, like dishwasher, air conditioning system, those are you have to wait until inspection to know it's still working or not. So the present assets condition is not including that. Those are the repairing item. The as is stuff is cannot be repaired. I cannot say 3-bedroom become 4-bedroom. Obviously not. We cannot do that. Or 2 beds become 3 beds. So that's a present assets condition, not repairable items. Okay. So sometimes you see the house is the title showing 3-bedroom and or 2-bedroom. Then you see, okay, how come the bedroom count is different? Then which part you take? Title or assets present condition? Title is only show 2-bedroom, but it's a 3-bedroom. Or title only show 1 bath, but obviously it's 2 bath. What do? Your buyer have to take it the way it is and go to city and county to double check. See if the other bathroom has a permit or not. If have no record, no permit, and your buyer still insists to get it, lender can still help. They will send the appraiser going out to change from 2 bath become 1 bath. Can you still get financing? Yeah. Then buyer purchase the property present assets condition. So a lot of people misunderstand the assets, man. 11A, seller shall within the same specific in paragraph 14A disclosure no material fact and defect affecting the property, including no insurance claim with the past 5 years, and make any and all other disclosure required by law. This is the time. Okay, if you talk about part of a present assets condition, you can also specify it. 14A, you need to disclose no material. For example, if the dishwasher is not working and seller is not going to repair, what do? You have to state it clearly in the counter offer. Say the dishwasher is broken, seller is not going to repair. Then, buyer, can you still request? Yeah, most likely seller will still reject it anyway. Okay, but that means they already disclosed. So in general, the present assets condition is not mechanical issue. But if any material fact or defect, sometimes may not be broken item. It could be say like it has a fire before or has a water damage, just like including the insurance claim. You have to disclose.
One of the issue is the faucet.
Mm-hmm.
I have see the other room that when I open the faucet, water normal.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to the other room, but his water is more than this.
Mm-hmm.
So can we ask for the repair?
If the normal.
No, the other one is not normal, but still the water comes out, but it's smaller than the other one.
Okay.
So we can ask about, hey,
wait until inspection. Huh? Wait until you do the inspection. Because you rather, as a buyer, you gotta have a third party request, third party report to.
We need the so okay, that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes because the piping, if it's sometimes the piping is clog up. Okay, possible because the older house they have a galvanized pipe instead of copper piping or PU pipe, the new one. Then it could be clogged up because the calcium deposit Yeah, but I mean, if you want to improve that, personally, I would suggest you can probably start using water softener because the salt,
So
okay,
in
it
that
will
case,
dissolve.
if the inspection pass, no any argument.
Buyer can still request, but seller can reject.
He said that because it passed,
Yeah,
inspection passed already.
well, because inspection passed, that's right. But can buyer request anything? Even the inspector says okay. Yes, buyer can still request anything. But seller can reject everything. Then what I end up with? Then buyer don't buy. Cancel. Okay? We try not to see that happen, but we will try to smooth anything if the money is an issue. Then you know who's going to start paying. Agent. Sometimes both agents. Okay? So that's why I suggest don't give away your money easily. Oh, how many kickback do you got? What are you talking about, kickback? I'll, later on, who knows? Am I going to pay for some of the repair for you? Right? I reserve that on every case. Just in, if it before the cancel, we'll say, okay, if the seller willing to compensate you some money, assuming, would you still continue to buy? Most of the buyers say yes. And how much you are thinking about? So I will try my best. A couple grand, okay. So you might have to pay a couple grand, okay, if the seller doesn't buy or both agent. You gotta have a dollar amount. Or somebody said, no matter what, I'm not gonna buy. Okay. And I mean, no, you don't have to, put more effort on this deal because they just don't want to buy. For example, foundation crack. It doesn't matter how much you repair. Buyer could not, oh, I don't want to buy this house. Can they do that? Sure. I don't care. Seller, give me $20,000 credit. I don't want to buy because foundation's uneven. Foundation's cracked. Yeah, repairable. Well, what do you do repair? You just have to fill in the gap. You just cannot redo the foundation, can you? No. Then, yeah. So if that's the case, no matter how much you credit to them, they're not going to buy. Then stop there. So sometimes when we do the inspection, we found out, or even when we look at the house, you can sometimes feel that the foundation is uneven or foundation is cracked. Sometimes you can feel that. If you walk on the carpet, you can feel that. But I mean, wood floor, it definitely cracked, or tile, you'll see it. I don't even submit the offer for that house. I don't want to wasting time. I tell buyer, let's move on to the next one. Too much to repair. Okay. I foreseeing that, and usually it's not worth it for the effort. And even they can be repairable, and I have no guarantee if that house, crack again because the soil might have an issue. Sometimes not maybe the foundation issue. If the soil has an issue, the earth move, it can crack again. When you crack the second time, who they come back with? You, agent. You tell me buy this house. Oh, I don't want lawsuit. Do you think buyer may sue you for another damage? Uh-huh. Or if you know the house has a landslide, I would not even take the listing. They have the previous breaker have a landslide. The whole swimming pool is gone. And they sue the insurance company, sue escrow, sue previous seller after 5 years later. So they got $500,000, $500,000 repaired to put the swimming pool back. And now they want to sell that house? No, I'm not going to take it. Yeah, $1 million house. No, I will not take the listing. I won't. Because you can foresee the lawsuit. Years later, they can still sue you, right? Doesn't mean, even they disclose it. Because, yeah, seller, even they disclose it, you still get lawsuit. This is a California. Anybody can sue anybody. So the longer that's why I keep on telling you, the longer you stay in this career, you will get lawsuit. 30% of a chance you will.
If the seller did a repair foundation, did he need to let us know disclosure say they have been repaired foundation or not?
Yes.
He needed.
Yeah, that's why, when we do the disclosure, sell the property questionnaire, whatever the seller do the repair, you better disclose it. Because if the seller do repair the foundation, did not disclose to the buyer, later on buyer find out, like, doesn't matter how many years later, can they still sue seller? Yes. Yeah, they can still sue seller for damage. You did not disclose it.
So that did be disclosed.
Oh, yes.
I have one friend in living country.
Yes.
He been the whole construction change already.
Yeah.
So he needed when he sold house, he needed that.
Yeah. Because when they disclose it, I cannot guarantee they may not get lawsuit, but you got last chance to get lawsuit. I did disclose it, just like the case. What I talked to you, that's happened at your Belinda. Okay, so it's $1 million house. I just will not take the listing. It's because if you can still sue the previous seller, previous listing broker, and his buyer's agent, everybody, okay, including escrow. Then that's happened 5 years later. Then they can sue anytime, whenever they found out, isn't it? So to me, nah. If I knew it, then I would not take it. If I don't, well, I may take it. But hey, between agent and agent, we all have rumor. Hey, that house, be careful. Then you start digging in what's going on. Okay, if you don't know, check with the insurance company. They have it, all the records. Okay? The house got burned down. I'm okay with it. When they rebuild, and I'm even talk to the buyer. Hey, you got a brand new house, a newer house, because half of the house they rebuilt. The only thing you did not rebuild is the other half and the foundation. So you got to, half of a house rebuilt. It's new. Why not? Take it. Even it could be happened 10 years ago. And the smart listing agent and tell the seller to disclose that. Then we are okay with that. Huh? No time limit. Insurance is 5 years, but they will keep the record for long, long, long time. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I know. See, that's an issue. You gotta have to change your insurance company. Yeah, because a lot of people take the homeowner insurance very lightly. Oh, you assuming you'll get it. Don't. So once you open escrow, check with the property, check with the insurance agent right away. Okay, see if this house is insurable or not. Yeah, sometimes it's not your issue. Sometimes your insurance company issue. For example, Auto Club. I don't want to badmouth about them, but they are tough. If that house has an issue before, it doesn't matter buyer. It's not my fault. They just don't issue. They just don't insure that house. Then what do? You're gonna have to change a different insurance company. Even your vehicle, it could be an auto club, and you may not get a discount. Then we gotta have to renegotiate. Like what? Oh, compensation for the different insurance company because the discount. Anything have to be negotiated. Last time I negotiate, they will compensate up to 5 years, differences. Yeah. So everything is negotiable. B. Buyer has a right to conduct the buyer's investigation of a property and a specified paragraph 14b based upon information discovered in those investigations. 1. Cancel this agreement. 2. Request that seller make repair or take other action. I was telling you, don't stop buyer do any investigation if they want to, since they pay for it. And you tell seller you better cooperating because buyer has a cancellation right during the contingency period. And it won't hurt to seller because every inspection you finish, seller entitled for the report. Okay? Later on we'll cover that. C, buyer is strongly advised to conduct investigation of an entire property, see that bold print, in order to determine its present condition. So you have to do the inspection. Seller may not aware of all defect affecting the property or other factor that buyers consider important. Property improvement may not be built according to the code in compliance with current law and have had permit issued. So sometimes the inspector, after they do the inspection, I know the pipe is, water is flowing, no problem, but they may not using the right gauge of the pipe. So the water could be flow slower, okay? And you don't know because inside the wall. So that's why, you know, when the inspector, when they do it, the inspection, sometimes they may find out, may not be the right gauge, okay? Even some of them, one time I see it before as the kitchen hood. We're not an expert, but when the inspector comes and said, well, the wire on top of the kitchen hood, too thin. It should be a thicker one, you know, just the electrical cable. We don't know. We thought we can take it the way it is. Then we gotta have to tell the seller, hey, everything functioned properly, nothing wrong with it, because that cable is wrong gauge. Just like if you want to do any extensioner in the garage, you gotta have a condor, okay, like the aluminum pipe. Put all the wire inside, and you have a junction box. You cannot just leave the wire, you know, on the beam. You cannot do that. Well, yeah, but that's a, you know, pretty safe extension cord. No, it's because it's not go by the code. And that's, you know, we'll issue the, you know, we'll have a permit issue. Number 12, buyers investigating the property and matter affecting the property. You look at that. 11 present assets, and number 12, you're looking all kinds of investigation. The buyer's acceptance of a condition of any other matter affecting the property is contingency of this agreement as specified in the paragraph in paragraph 14b. Within the time specified in paragraph 14b1, buyer should have the right at buyer's expense unless otherwise agreed to conduct inspection, investigation, test, survey, and other study. Buyer investigation, including but not limited to 1. General physical inspection. That's it. 99% we don't need to do that. 2. Inspection specified in the wood destroy pests and organism. Any inspection for wood destroy pests and organisms shall be prepared by the registered structure pest control company. Shall cover the main building and attached structure. May cover detached structure. Shall not include water tests of shower, pen, or upper level units unless the owners of property below the shower consent. Shall not include roof coverage, and if the property is a unit in a condominium or other common interest subdivision, the inspection shall include only the separated interest and any exclusive use area being transferred and separated, and shall not include a common area, and shall include a report, pest control report, show the finding the company, which shall be separated to section for evidence infection or infestation or infection, section 1, and for condition likely to lead to the infestation or infection, section 2. That's starting, you know, for the general inspection, most likely we do it, and so do the pest control. 99%, we should have it, at least a report. At least a report. If the seller doesn't provide a report, as a buyer, what do? Can you hire the termite company coming to do the inspection? Sure. The seller better be cooperating. If not, then usually when you do the general inspection, I don't see any seller will rejected any inspection. Because if the seller rejecting any inspection, better don't buy this property. Something wrong with it. They got something high. Depend on the size of a house, though.
almost 4 hours. Even the roof, chimney, I didn't know, that. I just aware the chimney lid of
The cap,
the
the chimney, some
what they say,
the C clamp,
spark
spark rest, and C clamp.
yeah,
And also they check on the see if the chimney has a crack or the chimney has a cap on the top or the grill, around it, so the animal will not get in. Those are pretty normal. But I mean, I sometimes that 4 hours, I don't know, is they chatting too much or sometimes the inspector really like to talk.
So all the house like electric,
Those are need to.
trucks, everything.
Oh yeah, they need to test it.
The base.
They I know they can recommend to replace it because it's old. Can seller reject it? Sure. You look at those submarino house, and the people are still buying it. And you know how many amp of the some of the older house? Only 65 amp, not even 100 yet. 65 amp, you cannot even do anything really. When you turn on air conditioning system, you better keep it other thing, slow down. You better don't turn all the lights on because 65 amp it's easily overload. Anybody replace it? No. How many times they sell it? So many times. Well, that means seller every time reject it because replacing the electrical box is not cheap. Do you know how much is minimum you're looking at? Well, I always quote them 2,500 or more. Hey, sometimes they just don't want 100 amp. They want 120. They want 150 amp. Like my house is 200 amp. Okay, those are when the builder built, they only put 200 amp. But most of the builders, they don't put 200 amp anymore for the size like 2,000, 2,500 square footage house, not anymore. You want a 200 amp, you better be like 35, 4,000, the bigger house. Because saving money. And when you got 200 amp, those are easily cost $3,000, $3,500 for electrical box. And not only that, how many, you could be driving electrical car. You need to plug in. Yeah. That's what amperage is that? 400. 400, that's considered commercial grading. Then are you going to, do you think just replacing the cable, electrical box for that? No, you got to apply through Edison Company. That's easily another $5,000 for electrical car. Not just your regular one. You got to have another line, thick cable. So those are, when you're looking at those issues, after the inspection, then let's renegotiate whatever the credit, repair, or sometimes reduce the price. But before you give it a credit, you're going to make sure if there's a lender allowance for the credit. Termite. The bottom half, they mainly talk about like townhouse condo. You just cannot thoroughly check on the roof. Sometimes you have the downstairs unit. There's no way you get on the roof. You got another unit on the top, unless another seller, another owner, they allow you to go up. Okay. Certainly common area, anything, you cannot really check on it either. So they can only check from inside. But usually condo and townhouse, they will do the annual inspection. And those are, those are the HOA. They send someone to thoroughly check out the outside exterior. So upstairs, downstairs, they will check total exterior. So most likely if the HOA cover the termite issue, then you basically, just worry about inside. Okay, seller, you just worry about the inside as a termite or not. Outside, you leave it to the HOA. So better yet, if you deal with the sales for the condo or townhouse, I prefer using the HOA designated termite company to do all inspection, not just outside, inside too. Because when they do it, they'll do everything. No, depends. Some of them they do. Some of them, I cannot say all. Did you know some of the HOA they don't even cover termite? Don't assuming they all automatically cover termite. Okay. I can tell the example. My current listing, the one on the Greenport, that community does not cover termite. Because I've been doing, enough transaction. I know I deal with that particular community. It's not because the management company doesn't want to pay for. Who doesn't want to pay for? The owner of that community doesn't want to pay for. Yes. So that means seller have to pay for their own unit, inside and outside, treatment and completion. Section 1. So don't assume, never assume the community will cover the termite. That is in Roland Heights, one of a community does not cover. Okay. The good thing, every time I put it in to the purchase agreement, and I learned from the hard way 5 years ago, and seller need to come out to pay for it. Yeah, $2,800. They thought HOA included. Maybe before, because when we bought that unit, the one I just sell at the market right now, we bought it when it's the original owner since 1964. The townhouse is built, and we bought it 5 years ago, 2013. See how many years they lived there. So they assuming, oh yeah, termite was it? That's okay. If it's a HOA, that's why I say if HOA covered, that's fine. But I still put on the purchase agreement 5 years ago. What happened? When they call HOA, listing agent call HOA. I'm sorry, we did not cover. What? Well, HOA say, well, because you're the president, a board member doesn't want to cover. So we look at a guideline. Your community doesn't cover the termite. It's not because the management company doesn't want to cover it. It's a board member of that community who doesn't want to cover it. So who vote that? Obviously, all the residents in the community vote that we don't want to cover termites. So everybody worry their own stuff. Well, typical Asian community, Chinese community, cheap. Huh? Well, the one on the Greenport, Green Castle. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Because that community doesn't have even outside. Yes, none of them, none of them. So that's why 5 years later, now I want to sell that unit. Hey, I know. Okay. So if somebody asks me, did the HOA cover that? No. You better put in the contract, even I'm the listing agent. Okay. Always put in the purchase agreement for including the section 1 completion. And this that means I tell the seller, hey, buyer want us to do the termite. Then this is a time I will tell seller, remember, 5 years ago they didn't pay for it, so that means this time we're gonna pay for it. Okay, if anything wrong with the termite, we gotta pay for it, inside, outside. So you kind of tell the buyers, put it on the purchase agreement, then I'm the good guy. They tell the seller, hey, they asked for it. But if you talk about the fence, it's really hard. Even they don't really cover it. But I mean, between like each unit, they may have a wooden fence. It could be damage or anything. Can they, put a request for repair? Possible, sure. But the termite company, when they come out, they will not automatically, or if anything visually, they cannot. Sometimes the fence has a bushes cover that. They cannot inspect it. And the say the new owner, they cut down all the bushes and found out the fence is all damaged on the termite. Can you after the termite company or after the seller? You can't. It's because termite company, they only do it whatever the visual inspection, unless you tell the seller cut down the tree and do the inspection or something. Seller said no. Yeah. And don't forget to put especially detached garage. Some of the older houses that have a detached garage. If you do not put it on, seller doesn't mean they have to repair the garage. They have a termite because it's detached. They only put it, with the sometimes the seller may excluded a patio area. Be careful. They only cover the main structure. Even the patio, right, attached to the house, they may not cover. So make sure you read the termite inspection report thoroughly. And you need to, if any termite section, you want me to do it, including the report, just like this. Right here. Seller should pay for the following report. Termite inspection. Okay. Can you put the parentheses on the back? Main structure, patio, and detached garage. Okay, there's no misunderstanding. I want every report coming out. They can just give you the main structure report because this unit I know is nothing special, but I mean sometimes the house they have a detached garage, okay, or patio. Then if you put the parentheses, right behind it, then whatever the area you want them, not just the main house, you can add on those items. I would do that. Okay, so it will not cause misunderstanding later on. Okay, yeah. Well, I can put a termite inspection, right? You gotta give it, for seller's choice. Then I put the parentheses right here and say main structure, patio, detached garage, or even gazebo. You see that some of the backyard they have a gazebo way out, right? Those are you can put it on the separate items. So then that means when the seller doing the completion, what refer to the beginning. Termite clearances repair section 1. Or you can put the parentheses here, because when they come out with a complete report, that means they have to follow the whole thing. If they miss something, then you have to renegotiate with them. So I try not to, create more trouble later on when I do the request for repair. I will state it. If I see the gazebo or detached garage not attached with the main structure, then I will state that. Okay, number 3, inspection for lead-based paint. Other lead-based paint hazard. That's one of them. If you concerned, I never had the buyer want me to do the lead-based paint. If you tell me how to do it, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know. I may have to find out. Anybody has that before? Lead-based paint inspection. But if the buyer insists, I say, okay, fine. Let me find out for you who is doing. Just like if the buyers they have a kit for the asthma, and if that's the case, I would suggest that if you do suspicious, you can kind of smell it if the house has a mold or not. Some of the older house, then I would suggest the buyer doing the mold inspection because I don't want to get in trouble later on. Some of the older house, when you open the door, you can kind of smell the mold. Then, if they want to buy this house, tell them to spend the money for the mold inspection. If the mold level is too high, and you can tell the buyer, say, we can either have the seller declares, find out where's the mold, or don't buy it. Yeah. All right, number 4, satisfy the buyer as any matter specified in the attached buyer's inspection advisory, BIA. So those are, we all have it attached, for the purchase agreement, we all have a buyer's inspection advisory. Review the registered sex offender database, Megan's Law. Okay? That's part of the investigation as well. And confirm the insurability of the buyers and property, including the availability, the cost of the flood and fire insurance. Okay, that's the issue. We don't have a flood issue here, but we certainly have a fire insurance. That has to meet the requirement. Some of a property on the hill, the insurance company they may not cover. Okay, don't assume the insurance company will cover everything. The only insurance will cover the fire insurance, everything. That's a California FAIR plan. That's a California state insurance. Other than that, any private sector, private insurance company, they won't. And the number 7, review the seek approval, the lease that may need to be assumed by the buyer without the seller's prior written consent. Buyer should neither make nor cause to be made invasive or destructive buyer's investigation, except for minimum invasive testing required to prepare a pest control report, an inspection by any government building or zoning inspection or government employee, unless required by law. So a lot of things it could happen, if you're looking at the for you do the inspection or investigation. Investigation is regarding like natural hazard disclosure statement, Megan's law, that's considered investigation. Inspection is more like a physical regarding this property. Okay, so you gotta have to make it clear. So if you say is it insurable, that's a whole area, not just this house. So you gotta have to investigate if it's okay, because I do heard the buyer sometimes they don't want to buy the even natural hazard disclosure coming out and say bless you, the has a high fire danger, for the natural hazard disclosure statement, then they don't want to buy. Just the reason for that. Yeah. Or if any government building or zoning issue. So some of if you require the city inspection, zoning issue, sometimes the zoning may change. The grandfather zoning, they will keep you on that. But if anything, you want to rebuild it or do the addition or whatever, sometimes even remodeling, zoning issue may affect it. So if you are right on the borderline or some of older, if you're not so sure about it, won't hurt. You just go, on the county or the city to check on the zoning. Especially, if you guys, want to for if someone like to deal with the vacant land, be careful. Vacant land, you gotta have to go check on the zoning, and sometimes a lot of issue. Could be soil, could be anything, because you prevent a lawsuit later on. Because you don't know when you did not build it. Because when you build the house, you already know, okay, finally, this one can build a house. But some of the issue, could be the water company issue or any issue maybe. If you buy a raw land, that means it doesn't really, have any underground, no piping, nothing. The worst thing you want to buy is they don't even have a zoning yet. City or county doesn't know what should we do about this land. Because United States, what do we got the most? Land. Lots of vacant land. You probably won't see it, anything happen until 3 generations later. Who knows? Is that land still available? Because I know it's like we keep on talking, we might, immigrate to the outside the universe, not Earth. Then the land doesn't mean worth anything anymore later. If we all move, to outer space. B, seller should make the property available for the buyer's investigation, and buyer should, 1, as specified in paragraph 14b, complete buyer investigation, either remove the contingency or cancel this agreement. So after the inspection, you can just remove the inspection contingency. If you're not happy with it, and if the negotiation doesn't come smoothly, buyer can cancel this agreement. 2, give the seller at no cost complete copy of all such investigation report obtained by the buyer, which obligation shall survive the termination of this agreement. Here. Okay? If as a listing agent, you did not get a report, buyer say, I pay for it, why should I get a copy? Well, I accept your offer, and according to the paragraph B, okay, seller have no cost. You get a copy for any of your investigation report. So that's why, as a listing agent, when you educate your seller, they say don't stop them to do the inspection or investigation. Even they will give you the report. Even they cancel, they still need to give you the report. So what's actually for the seller? When I get those report, when the next offer coming in, if I'm the listing agent, I give out the report first before accepting the offer, and tell the buyer, say, are you happy with that? Or are the sellers already did whatever the repair may be. Sometimes they say, oh, okay, I do some of repair. So you start itemizing. According to the inspection report, sellers already did, whatever the repair already. Please hire another inspector to re-inspect it again. See, we're satisfied. And I have those buyers, they are pretty cheap. As long as they see the previous inspection, yay, I saved the money. So they don't hire. Okay, we accept it with us, and you already did it. Okay, then we'll just go check on it. He check on it, and says if it's got all the repair, and buy the property. But if that's the case, and I gotta have the buyer signing the waiver because hey, it has an inspection report, but it's not hired by my buyer, and I tell my buyer, you cannot, if anything wrong, you cannot after the previous inspection company because you did not hire them. You have no right to after them, and you have to sign a waiver because you try to save the money, so you did not hire another inspection company to redo it. Okay, so did you know that it's like when you do the final walkthrough, if the buyer can request for higher inspection again, inspector coming, they can come back. You just pay them a portion of the money, they can come back again to re-inspect it, whatever they found out before. See if they got repair. If you're not an expert, that's something you can suggest the buyer to do. If you don't know, and so the buyer doesn't know how to inspect it, when they do the final walkthrough, can you schedule with the inspector to come back again? Yes. 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 Whose fault? Buyer's fault. Because buyer did not hire another, did not get another inspection company to re-inspect it again. That means the buyers, if you decide to trust the previous inspection company, that's your choice. Just like seller provide you determined inspection report. Usually we just take it, right? But can buyer hire another termite company to do the inspection report and get a second opinion again? Yes, absolutely. You can hire as many as you want.
One more question is, if the seller try to sell to another people,
yeah,
that's another buyer.
Mm-hmm.
He do everything, and then finally that buyer is cancel. He doesn't want to buy anyway. Whatever lose, he doesn't want it. So then the money to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, the second one, new buyer want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Can he use that old information, back old information, give to the second buyer?
Depend on what old information. Disclosure statement?
No, not disclosure, like the inspection report.
Inspection report, yeah, they can seller can provide it to the buyer, yes. But it's up to the buyer that they want to do it again, because that's coming out the information. It could be from the previous buyer or from seller. Sometimes the seller, they do their own inspection report before they put on the listing. Okay, so those are, if you decide to trust a seller's inspection company, that's buyer's your choice. But as a buyer's agent, I will still suggest the buyer, you hire another inspection company to do it. At least a general inspection. I didn't say termite, but at least a general inspection. Termite, can you hire another company? Absolutely, sure. But okay, whenever you hire, seller entitled a report. Okay, you hire a general inspection company, they will seller entitled to get another report. You hire another termite company, do the inspection, so seller have another report for the termite inspection company. But what's the bad thing about that? General inspection probably is okay. Termite. If your termite company found out it's cheaper than the sellers, would you think seller which company they will use? Cheaper one. You hired it. They use a cheaper one. They didn't use their own. Yeah. Can they do that? Sure. Because they are entitled for another report anyway. But if the can seller hire another, if the seller think the first termite company is too expensive, if the seller hired a second inspection company, it's cheaper. But seller has to give you both report. I had that experience. Seller must give the buyer 2 inspection report, termite inspection report, not just one. I cannot hide it. Okay, you got to give 2 inspection report. Then who choose? Buyer choose which termite company to complete it, or buyer hire a third company. Can I do that? Yes. Then everybody have to decide which report, and that is the most aggravation is like the lender say, come on, let me know which report you want me to use, because lender need to know. Okay, you guys, because we have to pass it on. But usually we already pass on the first report. If the second report come out cheaper, I tell the seller, I say, look, we already given the first report, too late. Stick with the first one, even we know the second one is cheaper. Okay, why is cheaper? Probably they found less termite evidence, so last repair. But we don't want to cause the lender to start questioning why. So stick with the first report. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to pay more. Yeah. So those are the more different issue when you doing the escrow. Yeah, those are we had it before like that. C. Seller has a water, gas, electricity, and all operating pilot lights for the buyer's investigation, and through the date possession is made available to buyer. Okay, if any seller want to argue that, show them. 12C. Seller, you got to turn on all the utilities. And also, don't shut it off. I have the seller, I heard the seller say, hey, they finish the inspection, boom, they shut off. Wait a minute. How do I know your repair is properly do the repair? Oh, they're going to buy it, then why should I have to continue to pay? What's that telling you, the last statement? Through the date possession is made available to buyer. What's that telling you? When the buyer move in, when you close the escrow, you gotta have to turn on or leave the utility on until close of escrow. When the buyer's possession, that means buyer get the key. Let's talk about possession. I didn't say have to move in, but until the buyers get the key, until that moment, all utility must be still on. See? Yeah. Yes, seller's fault. Right here. That's why I say read the purchase agreement thoroughly. It will definitely protect you. And I'm sure if you read it 20 times, you'll be a whole lot better than most of a listing agent. When I do the final walkthrough, I will usually ask the seller, is all utilities still on? If it's not, turn it back on. Otherwise, we cannot close the escrow. What do you mean cannot close the escrow? We cannot do the final walkthrough. How do I know all the repairs properly repaired? You try to hide something? Right? Oh, you guys can turn on the utility sooner. Well, that's up to my buyer. I could pass it on information, but it's up to them. Are they willing to do that or not? Because it's not their property, they shouldn't be entitled to turn it on. Okay? That's why, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, don't be cheap. So if you're the listing agent, you got to educate your seller. You have to leave all utility until close of escrow. Usually we leave it, a couple days after close of escrow. Just give in some transaction time. Don't get disconnected and reconnected. Sometimes the electricity can turn back on right away. Water, maybe take a day or two. But what is the slowest? Gas. If the gas really got disconnected, it sometimes take about a week or two before they can turn it back on. Because anytime the gas turn back on, they gotta have somebody on site. The gas company people have to be on site when they turn on, right? So that's why the gas company, they sometimes they just right, okay, you want to disconnect it, they actually didn't disconnect it. They still leave the gas on. They just they stop here for the meter. Look, okay, this is it for the seller. They didn't really shut it off. Wait until the buyer reconnected. So they don't have to go out because if they physically shut it off, then that means they have to put the lock on the gas meter. When it turn back on, they gotta be gas company people have to be on site to light up the pilot, tested all the stoves, water heater, and furnace if they properly, operated, and also have to check any leak. Easily take an hour. If they lack of manpower, they either have to wait. Sometimes wait 2 weeks. And I had the issue before. We cannot do the inspection because the gas cannot turn on until 2 weeks later. And I'm not going to do any inspection. And I, extend the contingency period right away to 30 days instead of 17, because you delay for 2 weeks for the gas company to turn it back on, and I cannot do the inspection until you turn on the gas. So I was so pissed. I said, well, why don't you turn it on when you put on the listing, right? Oh, because safety issue. So I mean, it's the house and make got burnt. Yeah, but now you gotta now you turn it back on. Then you gotta have to wait. You gotta do the consequence. We cannot do the inspection. Then I have to extend the contingency period. Yeah, from 17, I easily 30 days, 2 weeks. Because who slow us down? Seller. Just like seller, sometimes they slow us down for the city inspection. City inspection, they cannot do it right away. So if some of a city require a city inspection, a seller, you gotta have to pay. Okay, go to the city hall to pay right away. Then schedule city inspection. And most likely, your city inspector, when they come over, they may, especially El Monte, they may not let you through on the first time. They may have to come back second time. Not only turn on all utility, if like the require like Pasadena or El Monte, those kind of city require city inspection, do it right away. Or anything around the Los Angeles city or Los Angeles, like Sherman Oak, Burbank, Woodland Hills, Venice, Venice, and those area. Okay, you gotta have to do the city inspection right away. Otherwise, it will delay the escrow. Oh yeah, okay. So they remove that. Okay, that's good. Some of them, just like Motor Park, they remove it. Yeah, used to be they had it, but some of them they figured it doesn't require anymore. They just they leave the way it is. Because sometimes when you do the city inspection, I know it costs more money, but also city want to protect the residents doesn't really have unpermitted issue or unpermitted addition. D, buyer indemnity and seller's protection for for the entry upon property. Buyer should 1, keep the property free and clear of lien. 2, repair all damage arising from buyer's investigation. 3, indemnify and hold seller harmless from all resulting liability claims demand, damage, and cost buyer should carry. Buyer should require anyone acting on buyer's behalf to carry policy and liability, workers' compensation, other applicable insurance, defending of protecting seller from liability for any injury to person or property consulting or occur during the buyer's investigation or work done on the property at buyers directly prior to close of escrow. So whenever you do the inspection, that's buyer's responsibility. So the seller is advised that certain protection may be afforded seller by recording notice of non-responsibility for buyer's investigation and work done on the property at buyer's direction. Buyer's obligation under this paragraph shall survive the termination of this agreement. When you do the inspection, or any inspection, if the inspector got hurt inside the property, who need to pay for that? Buyer. So you better hire somebody to have a workers' comp inspection company. Don't hire those individual. They have no insurance because anybody can be an inspector. Okay, then yeah, I can be an inspector if you trust me, but I just don't want to make those hard money. Yeah, I don't really like to crawl down to the basement, like the race foundation area. It's kind of dirty. When I was in high school, I did that. I played with that. Oh, down there is pretty cool. Yeah, you see all the piping, all the electrical stuff. Yeah. But not anymore. Okay, I'm not as skinny like high school. Even I'm skinnier than before, but it's not as skinny like when I was in high school. Oh, those are if the inspector got hurt or they fell from the roof. Wow. Okay, they slip. Then buyer is responsible. The buyer doesn't educate. Buyer doesn't know, right? Who buyer after what? Buyer's agent. Yeah. If the inspector has a medical bill after the buyer, then buyer after the buyer's agent, then you think who's going to be end up paying that, right? Lawsuit one after another. So you better hire somebody, the inspection company big enough, they do have a workers' comp. And if you doesn't feel comfortable with it, an inspection company, have them show you their insurance policy. See if they will cover, for the job injury and the accident may happen because they have to get on the roof. Then when you get on the roof, you have an accident may happen. Okay, and also on the last, for the form where they talk about a notice of non-responsibility, that's a form. If you want to do the repair, so for example, seller doesn't want to do the repair. Buyer like to buy the property, but buyer say, I'll do the repair. But that's without doing the repair, the loan cannot get funded. So they have to do the repair within the escrow time. But if the repairman or the contractor, when they got hurt, well, because they're doing inside the house, seller can be in trouble. So that's why this form actually, notice of non-responsibility, that means is seller is not going to be responsible for any damage or any the contractor got hurt inside the house when they're doing the repair, not remodeling, repair. Because before, usually they don't do any remodeling yet, but usually it's a repair, especially if you have an FHA loan buyer, because FHA loan, they have a higher standard, the repair standard. So those are, you gotta have to, and this form, it had to be notarized though. It's not like, okay, you signed it both party and no. Seller, sign it, had to be notarized and posted on the outside of the door or the window. So that means the contractor have to see it. They know, if they got hurt inside the house, they cannot after seller. They got to after buyer. So you gotta have to understand, buyer do have a responsibility if you do anything. Okay. So if you try to find out those are one man company inspection, especially Chinese, they try to save the money. Well, be careful. Oh, because I don't understand what they're talking about, so I need to hire the Chinese inspector. Well, it's your choice. You tell the buyer, say, well, if they don't have insurance and the inspector, got hurt when they're doing the inspection, buyer, you need to pay for it. Huh? What do you mean? Yeah, because you hired them, not me. Then who do you hire? I will hire the bigger company, whoever had the insurance. I don't care if they speak Chinese or not. Okay? Yeah. No responsibility? No. That one is for the seller to sign. The notice, no responsibility. Those are, if you do see the form they're telling you if you want to do the repair, doing the escrow. Buyer, no. Yeah, yeah. So you better hire somebody. The contractor have a workers' comp. Don't hire those without a licensed one. Okay. You got to hire the contractor with a workers' comp. Hire the inspection company, huh? No, no, no. Elite, they have it. Like I use a Sanel inspection. You gotta have the company big enough, with the insurance policy. They got hurt. If anything got hurt. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sometime if I may give the phone number to the buyer, tell them to call directly. If I call, hey, it's more like my responsible. I try not to do that unless it's like somebody I know, repeatedly they are okay. Then I say, well, do you know anybody? And you sure you want me to call for you? Okay, and I will call. But even whatever I refer, I cannot even guarantee their performance. Later on, we cover that. Okay, so we still got protected. But sometimes I rather have them to do it by themselves. If their English good enough, then just call.
That's better. Let him do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would prefer, if they can speak English, go ahead, let them order. So they can pay the inspector on the spot. Because sometimes, some of a buyer, that's what I heard. I say, hey, you order it, why should I have to pay? Huh? What do you mean? Why should I have to pay the buyer's inspection? It's not seller pay? No. That's why I stated on the purchase agreement, buyer pay. Okay? Don't forget to do that. It's because on the purchase agreement, we never have a default that say buyers need to pay the inspection. So on the paragraph number 2A, you better state it on general inspection, you mark it buyer pay. So buyer to understand that. When they sign their purchase agreement, when you go through with them, go over the purchase agreement with them, tell them all kinds of inspection you need to pay. Oh, they do. Okay. If it's a 2-story, it's really, really high, and their ladders they can up to certain the height. They will take most of the photos. They will not go up if it's a tile roof. It's a composite shingle. Yes, they will. Or gravel roof, because those are okay. I even get on the roof, with the inspector as well before. I just like to see what they do. So I get on the roof too. Those roofs, okay. Tile roof, it may crack. Don't get on. Not even inspector. They will not get on. They will just lean the ladder on the edge, okay, and take the photos. So they have, all the thoroughly. That's why you see the inspection report. They should have a roof photos. Yeah. Even they don't go all the way up, but you take the photo, it's different angle. Yeah. Then if they concern your roof have any issue, they will suggest the buyer hire the roofer to re-inspect it again. Just like they would always put it on the inspection report telling what? HVAC, the air conditioning people, to come back to check on it for the service. Right? Yeah. Sometimes, you know, they don't blame on the inspector why they're doing that, or they will tell you, recommend something because they want to cover their liability. They are not the expert for air conditioning system. They are not the expert for the roofer. They are not an expert for a lot of things. They are the general inspector. Because all the special area, like air conditioning system, roofer, do they require license? Yes. Inspector? No. Anybody can be inspector. All they got is experience, but not, they don't need the license. But any other special area, from foundation to, you know, structure, to the roofer, to air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, they all require license because those are the contractor. And the contractor has a license, not general contractor. Okay? General contractor is general. They are nobody. If you want to be an electrician, not only you got a general contractor license and electrician license. If you want to be a plumber, you got to have a general contractor license and plumber license. And if you want an air conditioning contractor, not only you got a general contractor license and a plumber license and electrical license, then you can become air conditioning, because you involve what? Air conditioning involve water, electrical. You need both. So that's why AC people, okay, when the summertime, they are so busy. And don't piss them off. Otherwise, they keep you hot, okay? At your home. Yeah. Because they're hard to find. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. So that's why, should we put on the purchase agreement? Did you put it on the purchase agreement? Okay, you who breached the agreement? Buyer. Then don't buy. You don't want to pay? Technically, don't buy it. Well, sometimes it's hard to just, you know, for a few $100 to a $10,000 commission, I'll pay $350 inspection fee. Well, that's right. So when you're buying a house, you're gonna have to pay for the, you know, inspection fee. The buyers have to spend the money for inspection fee, and so do if they're financing. Appraisal fee. If they cancel, they may lose both fees, right? That's why when they're signing the purchase agreement, I tell them the maximum you may consider you lost about $1,000. Right? Appraisal, $500. Inspection, probably $500, $1,000 or less. But sometimes, you know, with the cancellation on the escrow, so you may lose easily $1,000 if you cancel. Oh, well, I don't want to pay those fees. Then you never want to buy. In为 there's no way 我一天我可以哦，你一直看到你要叫我 continue pay the inspection. You don't want to pay inspection? Don't buy. Don't buy it. So that's why I don't want to order the inspection for the buyer. Try not to. Okay? Why? You order, you pay. I didn't order it. You don't want to pay? Well, see, the issue is usually the inspection company, they're pretty smart. They have two ways they can do. Oh, you don't want to pay? Fine. Like the one on the scenario inspection, I say, oh yeah, I can leave the inspection to the escrow. You don't want to pay at this moment? Sure. We add $75 in the escrow. So when you close the escrow, buyer will deduct it. But when buyer cancel, they also deduct it. They bill to the escrow. What should I have to pay? Buyer, you still pay. You want to get your initial deposit back? Pay. Okay. Then if they, oh, I don't want to put in the escrow. Okay, then you don't get a report. Why? You don't pay the inspection company, they will not release a report to us. Just like the escrow company, you don't put an initial deposit, they won't give out an escrow instruction. Fair? Yeah. Give and take, give and take. It's a two-way street. If somebody gets so cheap like that, drop them. It will hurt you. Because if you continue service, then you will start, aggravated. Yeah. Okay. Then we'll continue. 13, title investing. That's a different field. Within the time specified in paragraph 14, you guys all know that the paragraph 14, right? That's a contingency paragraph. So we cover that shortly. Within the specified paragraph 14, buyer should be provided at the current preliminary title report. Preliminary title report, and the preliminary title report is only an offer by the title insurance to insure a policy of title insurance and may not contain every item affecting the title. Buyer review the preliminary report and any other matters which may affecting the title or a contingency of this agreement as specified in the paragraph 14b. The company provided a preliminary report shall, prior to issue the preliminary report, conduct a search of the general index for a seller except banks or other institution lenders seller property they require through the foreclosure. Corporation, government, and entity seller should within 7 days after acceptance give escrow holder a completed statement of information. So the title report, we all know that's for only issued by the title insurance company. So the title report is actually showing the current seller's information and the report on this property. Sometimes they do have an easement. Like what? If they do have a electrical pole on the backyard, the Edison company has the right of way to come in? Yes, that's an easement. Okay, or you have any meter coming in inside the property, that's an easement. Those are what recorded on the title. Or sometimes, if your neighbor has to using your driveway, because remember some of our house, it's a 4 in a row, share one driveway. And sometimes the driveway they dissected on this, on each property, only the driveway in front of you, that's considered your own property. But how about the last unit? They got to pass all 3 units, in the front, the driveway. So that's become an easement. They say the last unit, it has a right to use the driveway. So they will record it. And also you see if the seller they pay the property tax, they will put it on the title as well. And if you have any question, certainly you can ask the title rep or escrow officer if you don't understand. Don't be afraid to ask. Okay. When I was like your, entry level like you guys, I ask a lot of questions. If I don't understand, I ask. I know typical Asian because they want to save face in front of a buyer. Yeah. Well, you don't even know. I say if they really want, the answer, I rather tell them and say, great question. I'll find out for you. I don't know. That means I don't know. I flat out tell them I don't know. Or I'm not sure. Then you can always ask for help. Okay. Depending on whatever the field. From escrow officer, title rep, anybody. If they understand, they will help. But if you have an issue with the title, or if the title rep, they speak Mandarin, let them explain to the buyer. Instead of coming off on my mouth, I let them explain. Well, if the buyer want to, hey, you make money, you should do something. Just like escrow, I usually tell the buyer, why don't you sign the escrow instruction in front of escrow officer, right? Go to escrow. Why? When you drop out the initial deposit, you sign it on the escrow instruction on the spot, and all the required document. Save me some time to go over with them. You have to be smart. And last, liability, isn't it? I will do that. And most likely, I will always do that when I get a chance. I tell the buyer, go to the escrow. Not come to me. The only thing I will go with you is a disclosure statement coming out from seller. Yeah. But all the escrow paperwork, go to escrow to sign it. From the PCOR, for the property, everything, all the document, prepared by the escrow, let them sign it over there. Fill out the question, for the statement of information right here, SI. Okay. Tell the escrow officer, and they will, thoroughly, they will glad to help. Okay. Yeah, they were glad to help. B, title is taken. Oh, by the way, title insurance company, they cover whatever the record before you purchase. All the insurance like our auto insurance or house insurance, we cover in the future. The only title insurance company, they cover the history. Whatever the past history, anything wrong with it. Sometimes did not pop up during the escrow. Then after that, title may come out with an issue or maybe any lien. Then the title insurance company will square away to deal with it. And well, after the seller, if they have any lien, if the seller didn't pay for the contractor, for example. Okay? Because the contractor, they can put on the lien even after close escrow against this property. But I didn't do anything. That's up if the invoice, it could be and the previous before close of escrow. Then title company will pay the contractor first, then after the seller later. So you will have the contractor remove the lien from the title. B, title is taken in the present condition subject to all encumbrance, easement, covenant, condition, restriction, right, and other matter, whether the record or not, as the date of acceptance, except for 1, monetary lien and record, which seller is obligated to pay off unless buyers is assuming this obligation to taking the property subject to those obligations. 2, those matter which seller has agreed to remove in writing. Some of a monetary lien, like contractor, if the buyers, they're willing to take over the seller's debt, so be it. Yeah, then you can still transfer. But if you have a lien, the title with the lien, that means we call the cloud title, not the clear title, clean title. Clean title, that means no lien. Not even, for the mortgage, because when you have selling the property, when they got money funded, it will pay it off on seller's mortgage. The only thing is hard to deal with it is a tax, property tax issue or income tax issue. They put the lien against the property. Then the seller need to pay it off. The one I have dealt with it before, to be careful, because some of company, they are the fraudulent company. They will put the false lien against the property, $20,000, $30,000. They don't want to put much. They figure, seller, you may pay off. If you deal with me, it takes longer time, but you want to sell the property, pay me off first. But I mean, you can sue them later. And if you found out, say, I never borrowed that money from you, any private sector, you look at those, the recording lien or the recording document, the signatures all fraudulent. And I had that before. The seller hired an attorney to square away. I think they still pay them something. Just like you did nothing wrong. They are a fraudulent company, but you want to sell that at this moment. If you continue to deal with them, it may take about half year before you can resell it again. Yeah. So don't get hurt. It's like, if you can check your own title, since we all the agent, we can access our own house. Check your own title. You don't want those happen to you. All right.
Title is something that title company notice, the other any
Uh-huh.
or we have to check ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Something problem they notice to us or ask.
If the lien on the title,
Any something not clear point.
then you can ask the escrow officer or the title. So ask the seller, how did they square away? Sometimes the seller have to deal with those title. Yeah. Hmm. No, you don't do a close of escrow. That's why you have to read it. After close of escrow, tough luck. You're done. Oh, property tax. That's you do it periodically. But what his question is, any lien, unusual lien, any unusual lien or unusual title issue, they have to square away before we can do the transfer. If the seller has a hard time to transfer the title, then you rather don't buy the property, and buyer may not get the clean title, or buyer may not even purchase this property because it cannot be transferable, and it's going to be an issue. Taxes, the income tax, if they got property tax, you pay it periodically. Those are okay. What I'm saying, income tax probably more severe. Raker on 1995, they didn't pay for it. Then they just have to pay it. They have to deduct it. You gotta have to tell the title company to do the search, run the search, what's going on. It could be it's a county fault. They forgot to, or if it's a seller, you ask the seller first. If the seller said, I did pay, it was, show me the proof. If they cannot hard the proof, then you gotta have to, redo the whole thing, run the search and see if it's okay. To the found out those, go through the county. They may not even have the record either. The worst come worst, seller have to pay it again before he can do the transferring. Well, I would not close. I would if I'm the buyer's agent, I would not let it close. But when is it recorded on that, the pop up? Because when you look at a preliminary title report, if you go back 2 years ago, when a title report, did they show 1995 record? Okay, then definitely they can close it. If that's the case, then the current owner have to talk to the rep. That's the title insurance company. They are the insurance company. They have to deal with it. Talk to the title insurance company customer service. Tell them to run the investigation. What's going on?
If we get a report,
Mhm.
show any lien, after that report, suddenly put a lien bill.
Mhm. Call the title insurance company. They are the insurance. Just like when we involve the accident.
No.
Oh.
I said if right now we get a title report,
Uh-huh.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And then we put it there because if the next week or whatever, we get a lien, put it there.
I know. After close of escrow, that's why the lien. That's a title insurance company. They covered the history. Before we close of escrow, any history. When you talk about that's a history, right? 1995. You talk about the lien, whatever the invoice they put on the lien. It could be a couple years ago they didn't pay for the contracting fee. They put a lien. Title insurance company will pay it off, or they will run the search. They will square away. That's their job. No. So title insurance company, they still paying those fee, just like when our auto insurance, if we get involved in an accident, they pay for the repair. Same thing on title insurance company. They pay for the damage and have them remove it. Yeah, because when they run the search, everything is clean. then no problem. Later on, they pop up. They will see, either they will after the seller, or they will run the search, tell the county, say, you look at thoroughly, or they will ask the seller, what happened in 1995? How come they got pop up the recording again? You don't deal with the county. Why do you deal with the county? Because they all have a channel. Title insurance company, they have a channel to deal with the county directly. You deal with the county, tough luck. You just do their job. We're not an expert. You already pay them, okay? Or sellers already pay. Put it this way: seller pay for the title insurance. When somebody pay, let them work. As long as you own the house. Before you refinance. Because when you do refinance, you got to have another title insurance company step in. And that's the second title company. So anything depends on when, happen. Then if you do the refinance, then the second title insurance company step in to do the investigation. Yeah. If you own the house for 30 years, the title insurance company have to cover you. Because 30 years ago, anything that happened, you have to deal with it. Yeah. But can title insurance company refuse to insure the property? Can they do that? Yes. Why? If this house, for some reason, doing the history since they built, sometimes they're for sale by owner, and for sale by the owner did not buy or purchase the title insurance, so they have lack of a period. It's without the insurance, and the title insurance company, they may not want to insure this property. Transfer between the relative, that's a quick claim deed. That's okay. But what I'm saying, purchase, grantee transfer. If a quick claim deed, then this is still okay.
The title insurance deal.
Yeah, if a quick claim deed, it's like, okay, parents give it to the kids, the house. Okay, that's a quick claim deed. I didn't do the purchase, didn't go through the escrow, or just changing name. Okay, that is okay. But if you talk about your issue is if it's a grantee, then the second insurance company will step in, or if the sometime for sale by owner, buyer doesn't know, seller pay for it, or buyer didn't pay for it. So both parties, nobody pay for the title insurance. Can you still close the escrow to do the grantee transfer? Yes, because the title insurance company is not required. It's just 99% we all ask for the seller pay for it in Southern California, not in Northern. Northern could be buyer pay for it. Okay, the owner's title insurance, or out of state, buyer pay for the owner title insurance. It's just because in Southern California, we ask the seller to pay for the title insurance. Can seller refuse to pay for it? Yes. Seller is not obligated to pay the owner title insurance. We market seller to pay. Can seller change your mind? Yeah. Seller says, I don't want to pay the title insurance. Because, for example, when we deal with the bank-owned property before, well, they are the big boss. They don't want to pay anything. Sometimes we even have to pay the escrow for them. They don't want to pay the title insurance either. Buyer have to pay all the fees, including seller's fee. Oh, you want to buy? Pay. Or someone else will pay for it. They will sell to some others. Yeah. Yeah. So that means seller can turn down all the fee, even escrow fee. Yeah. So don't think everything is, don't assume seller will pay this, seller will pay that. No, seller can reject or refuse to pay anything. That's why we do a purchase agreement for. Make sure you mark properly. Seller pay this, seller pay that. When they sign, they need to pay. Okay? Or they have to get issued a counter to reject it or refuse to pay whatever the fee. Sometimes we see the seller reject you or refuse to pay home warranty, right? Yeah. Right? That's normal. Very rarely the seller rejected to pay for the title insurance. But I had that before when you deal with bank-owned property. They don't want to pay anything. Are you losing money to sell the house? What do you mean? You still want you to pay this and pay that? And your commission too? That's a short sale. But then when we end up with it, we got less than 1% commission. Is it worth it? And the seller doesn't want to pay for the CD citation. That's a $20,000 bill. Who gonna pay for that? Buyer. HOA. Who gonna pay? Buyer. Buyer says, I don't want to pay. Who pay? Buyer's agent. How much do I get? You almost work for free. So that's why, you know, when you deal with a short sale, be careful. Anything could happen. Okay. Okay. Certainly, the seller have to provide it, you know, on the title report. You know, usually escrow will prepare right after open escrow. When we open escrow, we just, you know, the escrow officer will order the title report right away. So within 7 days, we have to deliver to the buyer. So the seller disclosure, all the disclosure as well, natural hazard disclosure statement. Even you better including the termite report as well. Everything you should provide it to a buyer 7 days. So buyer can have a 17 days contingency period to thoroughly do the investigation. Same thing, you tell the buyer, usually you see, you know, a lot of listing agent will tell the buyer, oh, you're gonna have to do the inspection within 7 days. So the other hand, seller, you have to send me and give all the disclosure to me, to the buyer, within 7 days. Fair? Yeah. B, title is the taken a present condition subject to all encumbrance. Oh, I covered that. C, within the time specified in 14A, seller has a duty to disclose to the buyer all matter known to sellers affecting the title, whether of recorded or not. Seller have to disclose. For example, when we deal with the short sale, that's a good old day. Yeah, we see two lien, first trustee and second trustee. Then seller disclose third. Right before close of escrow, seller, oh, I forgot I have fourth. What? So that continue, cancel and cancel. I know it's like the listing agent, you know, just take that listing for, you know, how long for the short sale to complete? 2 years. Do you think it's worth it when you deal with a short sale? Think twice. And you have to keep the third and fourth outside of escrow. That means why? Because you don't want to let the first and second know. Third and fourth got paid. That means buyer, you have a money you're supposed to pay first. First, okay. The second, they are the borrower. The second, I think it's about $250,000 or 300,000, and the first, okay, I'll only give you 10 grand. Take or leave it. So the second lender, they're losing big. Who has a choice? They have to pay off first. It's a first trustee, first lender. First lender got fulfilled, then second lender. If the second lender only get 10 grand, what do you think third and fourth? $1? 400,000 alone? So that's why they want to keep it outside of escrow. So end up the third and fourth, they want to get, you know, agree to $20,000, 10 grand each, you know, on each party. Otherwise, they don't want to sign a release for the promissory note. They have to release it, 4 of them. So that's why the issue. So if the seller need to disclose, then we can work on it, because some of them, they may not record it. So that's why on title report doesn't show. They have a promissory note, but do you require to record it? No. Can you keep it? Yeah. Just like somebody borrowed the money, you have to write on a piece of paper. That's it. That's a note. You promised me to pay me back, blah, 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 and when or how will you pay me back? That's a note. But is it required to record it? No. You can keep it with yourself. If you lose it, tough luck. That's the evidence for the borrowing the money. So those are the private lender usually will do that. They may not record it. Or sometimes your friends, you're using your house as a collateral and they loan you the money. Then you have to write it. Okay, I using my house as a collateral, but I think the friends sometimes they don't understand or they are too stupid. Is because they are the fourth one. They are so vulnerable. First trustee get everything. Second trustee, wipe out everything. Third and fourth is very vulnerable. They may not get their money at all.
So if that house get lien, still can be sold, right? So escrow will pay to the lien people? No.
If when we do the short sale, it's not enough money to pay. That's a short.
That's a regular.
A regular one,
Yes.
it's up to the seller want to pay or not.
Is that right?
A seller doesn't want to pay, then he cannot close
So
it.
if he not pay, we'll buy his house.
No,
So that's what
no. The buyer will not buy. Why you buy the buyer's debt? I mean, seller's debt.
No, supposedly that lien, when you sell something, sell out, that the escrow will pay the lien people, like the bank.
But seller have to sign.
If not sign, it's still.
Seller need to sign through the escrow instruction with between seller. I mean the amendment between seller and escrow. If seller doesn't want to, yes. If the title is not clean, cancel.
So that escrow will let us know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you get enough money, usually the seller will just pay whatever the lien may be. Okay. If they don't want to pay, that means they cannot sell it, and they cannot sell it. You better find out, or the seller has to disclose within contingency period. If the after a buyer remove all the contingency and seller cannot transfer the title, we're in trouble. Buyer can after seller now. Damage. Not just in. You think, I'll return the initial deposit back to you. No. Why? The time I waste. I could use this money for doing some more, or buying another house, or my traveling expense, or it could be like the business I can use this money to make, and whatever the damage may be, I can list a laundry list. Seller, you want to pay? No, you don't want to pay. Okay, then lawsuit. Then when it gonna happen, lawsuit, that property cannot sell until the lawsuit end, and that could be 2-3 years.
Well, that's what spent a lot of money in that.
I know. Some of a buyer, they just didn't think clearly. Those are the rare situation. But does that happen? Yes. Then what I end up with? Seller most likely just pay for those liens because a whole lot cheaper than come out with a lawsuit. Okay? Yeah. So that's why, as a buyer's agent, you got to know, it's not just when you remove contingency, if you want to after seller, not just after the seller for, I just return the initial deposit and maybe you compensate the inspection report or appraisal fee. That's it. No, more than that. Some people could be traveling from foreign country because the close of escrow, they're ready to pick up the key. How about the expense? Or the airline ticket? That's an expense. If it doesn't close, they don't have to come over, right? If they transfer the money from the money market or the stock market to the bank, ready to close, then if you cannot close it, they may be losing the money on stock market. Whose profit you gotta consider? Seller. I lost a profit. If you cannot sell it, fine, so be it. Why don't we, cancel it sooner? Then at the last moment you cancel because this tiny little lien. So those, if I buyer's agent, you tell the buyer, send me the laundry list, whatever you lose, and I will send it over to the listing agent. I can easily put about 10 laundry lists. All the money, way more than the lien. You want to cancel? So be it. Ready for lawsuit. So that's why sometimes don't mess up with the buyer's agent with his experience. When the last moment you think it's like, they will take it easily. No. Some of a buyer they are pissed. They were after the seller all the way. D. At close of escrow, buyer should receive a grant deed conveying title or for the stock cooperate or long-term lease, an assignment of stock certificate or of seller's leasehold interest, including oil, mineral, water rights if currently owned by the seller. Title should vesting as designated in buyer's supplemental escrow instruction. The manner of taking title may have significant legal and tax consequence. Consult a appropriate professional. So that's why sometimes if they have any question, I'd rather have them, turn over title rep or title customer service hotline if they have any issue with the title report. Or if any tax issue, certainly accountant. Okay. Uh-huh. Oil right? If you do have an oil right, the seller will disclose it during the, it will show on the title. You have an oil dividends. Uh-huh. The oil is oil. That's why we got those oil. Those are the, well, anything underground. No, not piping. It's oil. If some of a house, they have an oil right. I dealt with it before, like La Habra Heights. Yes. Oil company have to pay you the dividend when they pump the oil, like Brea, La Habra Heights, they still get a pump. That's an oil right. Yes, and that will show at the title and say, how much they will pay you monthly or annually. That's an oil right, or any mineral right, or water right. Mineral right is like, for any mineral, if you have gold, diamond, silver, you wish. Well, yeah, if it has a gas. Yeah. Gas, you still feel like you sit on a bomb. You light up. Okay, let me finish the E. We'll be done. Buyer should receive the CALTA or ALTA homeowner policy of a title insurance, if applicable to the type of a property and buyer. If not, escrow holder shall notify buyer. A title company can provide information about the availability, coverage, and the cost and other title policy and endorsement. If the homeowner policy is not available, buyer should choose another policy. Instruct escrow holder in writing and shall pay any increasing cost. If this owner, they will pay for the owner title insurance, but insurance, they all have policy, just like auto insurance, they have a coverage, different coverage, okay? Usually the seller only pay you the minimum insurance policy. If you want more coverage, just like, if the homeowner, you want to cover theft, we want to cover more damage, fine. Can you buy more? Yes. Who's going to pay? Buyer. Seller is not going to pay more extra. Buyer, can you pay the differences? Yes. Then you got to have a buyer to review the policy. The title report is only the report. But the policy, if the buyer want to get the better coverage, they can request a policy through escrow officer. Sometimes better yet, talk to the title rep. They will explain over to you a different policy, the coverage. You want to pay more? Extra, fine. Some of a buyer willing to pay more. Just like, don't stop buyer and say, why you pay more? It's their money. What are you talking about? Don't play the hero in front of them. If they want to pay more on a title insurance company, title insurance coverage, so be it. Just like somebody want to hire the inspector, coming back, doing the final walkthrough, they're willing to pay. Why stop them? Right? That's a typical, Asian, the agent, what we did wrong is we try to be a hero in front of our client. Seller, buyer. Yeah, they want to be a hero. Oh, how much I save you money? Who cares? All I want is get the job done. That's it. That's why, you know, I don't, every time I tell the buyer, you want me to find somebody can save you some money to buy the property, don't talk to me, talk to someone else. My job is get you the property. But it's obviously for discount price, no. Yeah.
那个 title insurance 也可以，如果 buyer 想要好一点的 title insurance 的话，也可以那个付一些差额买好一点。
Yes.
跟那个 home warranty。
Yes, the home warranty, title insurance, anything. If you want a better coverage, buyer can pay their own extra coverage for that, more than the seller. Just for example, if the seller say this is that's the other issue, termite. Oh, okay, just do the sectional termite. Probably costs $1,500. But buyer insists want to do fumigation. That's could be $2,000-3,000. Seller says, I'm not going to pay for that. Who pay for the difference? Buyer. I want to do the fumigation, period. Okay, so be it. Seller say, I can give you $1,500 credit, and you pay the rest of them. It's $3,000. You pay the extra $1,500. Then you can do the fumigation. Do I care? No. Okay, so don't stop buyer if they want to get the better policy, better coverage. Let them spend the money. It's not your money, okay? So the more they do, the less liability I got. Why not? Be smart. Okay. All right, we'll stop here. Then we'll come back at paragraph 14. Those are the contingency. So we'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you for coming.